Hi, I'm Madonna.
I'm your worst nightmare.
To rule the world. Why don't you show them what you do, honey?
You've never had more fun with anyone else.
People, we gotta move on to the next song.
I'm sweet and I'm a bitch, you know what I mean? And that's always been the way it is. I'm a human being.
I'm waiting.
Hi, I'm Carlton Wilborn, and you're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast.
Hey guys, it's Tony, and it's officially winter in New York.
Yes, it's a bit chilly now, but welcome everybody to another episode of MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna, Louise, Veronica Ciccone. And as you just heard today on the show, we are joined by none other than Carlton Wilborn. Carlton, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, hello, thank you.
Carlton, thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you doing today? How is your life?
I am good. I'm good, guys. Thank you very much for having me on the show. I've been in talk mode. Today seemed to be a day of a lot of interviews. So, yeah.
So you're warmed up. You're ready to go.
I guess. Sure. Yeah.
If one is ever ready for this, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm good. It's a really beautiful day here today. The last couple of days have been a bit cool, and it warmed up by about 8 degrees today. So we're like in the mid 80s.
Oh, jealous.
And like fully clear blue sky. So it's like that kind of a yummy day.
And you're talking to us from Los Angeles, correct?
I sure am. I am in Hollywood, right in the middle, right in the heart of it. Yeah.
I look forward to being able to safely travel again and go back to LA because I love LA. There's such a nice energy out in Los Angeles.
When is the last time you were here?
2 years ago, I think.
Okay.
I mean, it seems like it was ages ago because in pandemic years, I feel like it's been like 10 years.
Yeah. Tony, how about you?
I went in my previous employment. I went to LA a lot. I was there, a few months out of the year. I spent a couple of weeks there. Cool. So in 2019, I was there a lot. I miss the tacos. Take me back.
The tacos, we do have them good here, man.
Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah.
We entertained for a moment, possibly getting tickets to go see Madame X at the Wiltern, but because she started canceling shows here or there, we were like, let's not chance it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Actually, I got to see her there, and that was the first and only time I've ever seen her perform. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, as an audience member, you mean?
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
Totally.
Was it an interesting experience for you?
It was so good. It was really great. I mean, I did not follow her a lot before I got to work with her. I mean, obviously I knew who she was, right? But like I didn't own an album or a single or anything. So I've had like these installments of like sort of checking out her vibe, but I just think it was so I never like stalked her out like that. And then obviously after I worked with her, I became a fan, and so I follow her elements, but to get a chance to like see the force that she is and not have the pressure of it at all was amazing. Yeah. And to really just be able to take her in and like fuck, like, because sometimes, which you guys don't ever think about, but like for at least the way that I am on stage, especially as a male, as a partner, right? Because that was often my role with her, to be the one to handle her and make sure she's balanced and all of that. Oftentimes when I'm looking at her on stage, I'm not seeing her from the frame that everybody else is seeing her, because I'm seeing her just in regards to making sure she's steady, making sure, because I know what's about to happen. I choose to be on guard in case there's a weird moment to catch her, right? So to just be free from all of that and just to be able to just look at her and like take it in was fucking great. And she's amazing. It was really great to see.
Yeah, and it was such a different show for her. Some people were unhappy with Madame X because they felt like it wasn't as big and ostentatious as her world tours had been. But then, I mean, from a fan
perspective, why did they buy a ticket? Because it said that it was going to be in a house theater. I mean, that's
from a fan
stupid.
perspective, I loved it because, to be able to see somebody up close, in a small venue like that was a treat.
Well, and I think, and I never really thought this until right now, so this is kind of cool. Also, I think if you really if you have really chosen to fully back her, right, and be a fan, then you should be backing the truth of who she is, not who you want her to be.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of who she is a mercurial underground artist.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth of who she is. So you would welcome, like you guys did, you would welcome her shifting and shape shifting and changing if you're really about Madonna, because that's what she's about.
Yeah,
well,
it's evolving with the artist, correct?
Absolutely. If that's what, especially if that artist brand is about that, right? Example, I remember, oh my gosh, I went to the Hollywood Bowl here in LA. It's, for those of you that don't know of it, it's a really big outside pavilion style house. Like there might be jazz, and then the symphony might be there, and an orchestra. And I went to see Harry Connick Jr., right?
Nice.
Yeah.
I like his vibe. I like what he does. And guys, I walk in and he comes out, and everybody knows Harry Connick Jr. as we know Harry Connick Jr. And he came out dressed in all black, like black t-shirt, black jeans, like LA Melrose Place. What's up, LA? Like super loud, not in his swaggy Southern
Yeah,
thing.
where's the suit? Where's the swagger?
Exactly.
Where's the crooner? Where's the crooner at?
Where's the crooner? Thank you. And he started the set that was all this jamming thing. Like, as an artist, I get it that he wants to explore, but he gave his audience no lead up for that, and folks were leaving, walking out Dixie, like in 20 minutes in droves, because it was so randomly different. But from somebody like her,
yeah,
where
I mean,
the brand is about shape shifting all the time, to be upset that she's taking a different venue, or now she's going to do something in the park, or along the alley tracks, should be interesting for you. Yeah.
Well, we've already gone to church and we've barely even begun the podcast.
You got me all deep already. Damn, it's just Monday.
Okay, well, before we go in any deeper, I'm going to give Carlton a formal introduction.
Yes, please.
So, Carlton Wilborn is a dancer, choreographer, director, actor, author, performer, empowerment speaker, and life coach. He began his professional career as a principal dancer with the world-renowned Hubbard Street Dance Company in Chicago, and then after moving to Hollywood, landed the position of Madonna's pillar of strength for the Blond Ambition and Girlie show tours. He's worked with entertainment legends such as Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, Twyla Tharp, legendary photographer Herb Ritts, Tony Award-winning director George C. Wolfe, among many others, of course. He's directed music videos, appeared in film, TV, and stage projects. He wrote an award-winning autobiography, Front and Center, How I Learned to Live There. He wrote and produced the webisode series Front and Center, and co-produced, wrote, and hosted The Carlton Connection. He's also done charitable work over the years for St. Jude, Project Angel Food, in Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. I mean, this is just an abbreviated list of some of your achievements. You've also, this is, to me, is very important. Since we went into lockdown, you have created and just shared your spirit with so many people on your Instagram lives that I sometimes get mad when I don't see them pop up. So thank you for that. Thank you. I think I slipped into your DMs a few times and just said thank you, because that's all I could give you back. But
thank you, man.
Thanks for being with us during this time, and thanks for sharing your stories with us today.
Well, I appreciate you doing all of that and saying what you lastly said, because you never know where the meat will land, right? And to know, like, wow, like, to hear, it's always powerful to hear directly from somebody, and like, I don't know you from anywhere, like I didn't even know that you were hearing it, you know what I mean? So that's just confirmation for me to stay on the path that I'm on, and sometimes that path does not feel comfortable, or sometimes you get tired, but it's been amazing in this season. I actually thank you for bringing all that right up, because COVID specifically, as the onset of it, all of it's been honestly very empowering for me at the end of the day, from COVID to the civil rights issue and Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and all the others, and presidential craziness, and then a presidential win that's in the same people's favor. And it's just been a whirlwind of experiences, and I'm grateful that I've been able to be a voice of reason for a lot of people, because a lot of folks are rightly so triggered with a lot of fear and unsureness and doubt, honestly. And with a lot of what my journey's been about, I know about riding through the fire, and I know about being inside of a huge pandemic and all those things. So I felt really armed for this. And really, guys, I have said that more than I've ever known in my life, I feel like me and what my story and my journey is about is literally built for this season right now. Right now. And that's amazing to feel. So thank you for sharing that it has actually.
No, I hear that, because I feel like this, like you said, this is a season that, some people are going to step up, and some people are just not going to make it,
Sure.
We're doing what we can, putting out a podcast, but we're doing something. You have to do something, and you have to put one foot in front of the other. Otherwise, this thing is just going to eat you
Can I
alive.
ask you guys, why did you decide to do this podcast? Like,
well,
why it and why now?
Stefan, do you want to?
We had chatted a little prior to the recording, you and I, Carlton, about, I had always thought, why do we get to have 50 million channels about sports, talking about football games and baseball games, but there's no outlet for, like, me personally as a Madonna fan? I would have loved to have had podcasts or television shows, like being like, and we've just seen Madonna perform, and here's a play-by-play of what she did tonight. And I felt like there was a void in that in pop culture. And they had done, there's podcasts for other pop stars out there. And I thought, you know what, we need a Madonna podcast. So Tony and I just hit the ground running. We had no idea what we were doing and how to do it and how to,
how great.
We just were like, let's just start doing it. And so we did it. And like you said, you kind of just, sometimes you show up, even, Tony and I wanted to walk away from it when we felt like our sound wasn't working, and we were just like, we're out, we're done. But we found a value in it. And like you said, sometimes you don't know the impact that you're having on people, but we get messages from people all around the world who listen to the podcast and thank us for sharing our stories and other people's stories, such as yourself, and how much it helps them, comforts them sometimes in a time of need. And so, me personally, I want to thank you as well, Carlton, because there are days during the lockdown early on when you were recording on Instagram Live, and it was just nice to hear a comforting voice and feel your positive energy, and just sort of receive that from the Instagram radio waves. And so thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks for taking the time today. It's been,
yeah, well, and getting the invitation from you guys to do this is, moments like this I don't take lightly for me in the way that I live, because, it affords me opportunities to sometimes really share like a different side, right? Or like if I've had, if I haven't been public for X amount of time and some life thing shifts, I probably am going to have a shift about my perspective, about how to understand something, how to see something, whatever. And it's nice to be able to realize, oh, I've got an outlet like this to share it with other people, so that other people can also see that it's safe to share your truth, whatever that looks like. So I really am honored to get this invitation. So thank you guys for giving me the chance to be real and transparent, and hopefully let somebody else choose that for themselves.
That's a great place to start. Stefan and I both saw you for the first time on stage at, in the Blonde Ambition tour. I was actually in Houston for opening night. And one of the things that first struck me is how, I kind of got a glimpse of it in the Vogue music video that I'd seen a few weeks before, but, you're just like we said in the description, you're a pillar of strength, especially during, the Like a Prayer, Oh Father, Live to Tell, that whole part. How was that? I mean, obviously that's part of who you are. And how did that come together in the choreography? Like, how did that all come out where they decided that, like, wow, he's really the center of this right now, the spiritual center of this piece? Like, how did that come together? If I'm saying it crazy.
I think, that's a really great question, actually. It's a question I've never been asked. Well done. Seriously, after all these fucking years, it's like, well done. It came about in a lot of different ways. M knew that I was again, I was different, in a different place in my career than the other guys. By the time the tour happened, I was 26. Most of them were around 18, and so this was the first big thing for them, and it wasn't for me. So I'd had a full career being with the dance company. I'd starred in a movie. I'd been interviewed. I'd traveled the world, not at the level that I could travel, but I still had traveled,
Yeah.
And so there was a trust factor that she had for me there. The other side, and this is like part of new information for me to even be aware of as I have unfolded to myself, is realizing that pillar of strength thing was also me being hyper aware that I was the lone black dude, or like I was the black dude, not the lone black dude, because it was Oliver and Gabe, but I was the tall black dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Statuesque.
Yeah, and like I had to like represent like one as like a black dude in the world, as a black dude, masculine dude. Like I was like conscious of all of that. So like my moments of standing, or my moments of like how I would angle myself, I was literally conscious of being that. And so, I think that combination, how I presented myself, and also what she knew about me and what I could hold.
Yeah, because you can see in the Blind Ambition choreography that it seems very personal to each dancer, and you don't see that a lot in like pop productions. That's something that you see more in dance companies, or
yeah. It's true.
And the part that you said that you were the older, more experienced, that came through in Truth or Dare, because you kind of looked like you kind of came across as like the elder statesman of the tour, that was your edit, I guess.
Oh God. Jesus.
The chaperone.
Yeah.
Carlton is just chaperoning. He's just chaperoning Nikki, Donna, and Madonna.
Are you gonna take me down like that? What you doing?
No, it's not a takedown. You know what I mean? While everyone else is like, kikiing and mugging for the camera, you're kind of like more elegant in the background, like, all right, guys, come on,
They have definitely thought of me as the older brother, is how they have, at least the guys. And that feels right, I have much more of an affection for them. I mean, I love them all, and I have a great affection to them now. But they were challenging for me, a lot of them, when we were on the road, and so it's nice to be able to be past my own bullshit, and see them rightly, for how powerful they were to live more authentically than me, actually, to live out their truth, and be really full blasted with it. I couldn't see that fully then, I was threatened by it, I think, in some ways. So they're amazing guys, and yeah, but we had a good time. I mean, we always had fun on stage. That is true. The whole mixed bag of us, M and Nikki and Donna and the dancers, and even the band, like there was a real authentic appreciation of each other once we hit the stage, for sure. And so now it's nice to have, allowed myself to let it go beyond that. Yeah.
Did you, we've asked a couple of the other guys this question. Did you realize how revolutionary the tour was at the time and how it was going to basically change pop shows forever?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I mean, who could? As I have said, I mean, there's certain things happen in the world, certain things happen in life that are super rare, that are super gargantuan, and who can ever see that? You just kind of get swept up in it, and pray that you don't get too swept up in it. If you understand what I mean, because it's incredibly intoxicating when you realize that there's a wave that you're on, right? It's not just a happening and a stop and a happening and a stop. Like you literally feel like, God damn, whoa. And so, it is not something that you can see coming. I'm super grateful for it though, I'm super grateful. But no, it was a phenomenal experience. Both of them, both tours. I'm grateful.
That's what I was going to ask you about. So, Blonde Ambition and 2/3 Air was like a 1-2 punch, and then how did you get right back into the Girlie show? I mean, this time you knew what you were, you knew what you were in for, and
the Madonna machine,
exactly.
And if I may be a fan for a second, that moment in Fever where you come out, just like shocked everybody. It was like, oh my God, Carlton's back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
I think because of Blonde Ambition and Truth or Dare, it's sort of cemented, the Vogue video, Blonde Ambition tour, and then Truth or Dare, it sort of cemented that entourage of Madonna people. And when she did Girlie show, that was like, oh my God, wait, where's everybody else? I mean, Nikki and Donna were there, obviously, but like, as far as the male dancers go, you were the only one. And it was like, wait, where did everybody go? And it was just kind of like very on brand for Madonna to, like not keep things the same. And but
not only were you back, it was also, we were seeing somebody completely different. That was what's so great about your work,
Yeah, well, and that was fun actually getting ready for the Girlie show and talking to her and like, sort of what kind of look and vibe I wanted to create for it, because when and this is not something that a lot of people think about, but like when we were inside the Blonde Ambition tour, she and I had lots of conversations about acting. Like that, like we literally just talked about like stuff that we wanted to do and blah, 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 blah. And we're egging each other on. So a lot of the rehearsal process and the like finish a run of a piece, right? And then go on the side and like talk it out for each other. A lot of our conversation was in that kind of realm. So it was, yeah, I don't know, man. I think that for me, it was just a really amazing opportunity to realize I was invited back. She called me. Actually, what happened is she called me initially for the Girlie show, saying that she was going back out and she was in New York calling me saying she was gonna be in LA running auditions. Did I have any dancers that I thought she might like that I could send to the audition? And I was like, oh, cool, awesome. And I actually did. And one of them ended up in the show and he killed it. And we hung up and it was I was totally fine with that because I was busy and doing other shit. Yeah. And then she hit me up like 10 minutes later and was like, oh, I didn't even think to ask you, are you interested in going back out? And I was like, I was like, so that's how the Girlie show came about. And then once I said yes, she was like, well, would you be up for doing the audition, meaning to run the audition? So I created all the choreography for the audition, and it was her at the table, and Nikki and Donna, and I was doing the audition for the Girlie Show tour.
Nice.
And that's how Chris Childers ended up on the tour. Chris and I had done a bunch of shit together and had been traveling around for about 4 consecutive years to Bangkok because we were modeling for Body Glove. And when I got the call from her to run it and all that, and like, can you send some people out? Chris is a beast. And I was like, dude, like I've got like the end, and I know she would be all about you. I am positive that you will have this. Fucking show up. And so the fact that I got to call him for it, and the fact that we have had the history in our career, and then finally got to do The Beast Within, and that was such a gargantuan piece choreography wise to do, and that he and I got to do that together was super fun. It was super fun. So the Girlie Show is very special for me, and the Blonde Ambition tour is very special in different ways.
Yeah, I feel like in the Girlie Show, you got to express your artistry even further.
Yeah, I did. I mean, for me, I always say that the Girlie Show is the grown and sexy tour. And that's more my speed. The sort of campiness that the Blonde Ambition tour was not really my natural beat. I can do it. I can pull it off. But my sweet spot is more right up the alley. And also, like, the album Erotica, I was completely into. And there were a couple songs that I knew I really wanted to get, and I got them. Meaning, like, because she's the one that chooses like which dancers for which songs, and you don't really have a say in that, but you can have a say in how, like, what the biography is and everything. So, like, Fever was the one I wanted, and Beast Within. So the fact that I got them and got them the way that I got them was awesome for me.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, Fever was a standout, I think, from that show. I mean, there were so many standouts in Girlie Show, but totally. Fever was just such a fun number, and I mean, you and the other dancer with Madonna. I mean, everyone
Michael
just looked
Gregory.
So athletic and so beautiful, and like some short shorts, which I loved looking at.
Those damn shorts.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, it was so beautiful. And
but see, like, shit that people don't think about though is like that number was like at the top of the show, which means
right,
as the dancer, like, you haven't warmed up or anything, and you're entering a wide open space, meaning like most of them were stadium gigs, right? And you're entering at night, freezing cold air, and you have to just look like you're just chilling at the beach.
And there's a fire element, don't forget.
And there's a fire element, exactly. Yeah, that wasn't as scary, but really, like, just like we talked about it all the time, like coming up that thing just freezing.
Oh God.
And then you got to do what you got to do. It's kind of funny.
That makes me feel even worse for Carrie Ann now.
Oh no, dude! You don't even know the situations that she was in coming down that pole. Like, no, seriously. Like, we had issues, and it was not cute for a minute, and they finally had to work out the right things to make it doable. But that was a 90-foot pole, metal. And she was not good a lot of times by the time she got down. And they had to do some very clever things to fix it, which I can't say, but it definitely was a real issue. Well, and no one thought about it, and how could, like, you just wouldn't think about it until you got there. So
right.
It looked perfect every time.
Exactly. And she's that kind of pro, even though she was freezing and hands numb.
Oh,
no,
God.
Seriously, but think about that.
Yeah.
And the scare of your hands seriously getting to cold numb, and you've got to hold up your body in some other kind of ways, and then your thighs are there for too long and they start shaking. Weird shit that nobody ever thinks about.
Yeah.
She turned that piece out. Piece out. So great. Yeah. Fun tour. Fun show.
So then, after Girlie Show, I mean, as with Blonde Ambition, I'm assuming Madonna opened some doors, like personally and professionally and whatnot. And where did you go? Did you You were like, I'm done with the pop world. I'm gonna do something else.
Well, I was in between the tours and definitely stepping off of the Girlie show. I was all about my acting career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I was about my acting career before I got that, and so that's really where I went and just started doing a lot more guest star things and starring in some movies and you know, I was about that.
Yeah, we were gonna put some highlights, but there was just so many to list. I was like, this will be half the podcast, us talking about all of your acting.
No, but Carlton, I have to bring up, I remember in the 90s, I watched a lot of TV because I was in college, and there was a show called LA Firefighters. It was like an action episodic
show.
You
saw that?
Carlton shows up, and he is the butchest, straightest firefighter, and I was gagged, like
I
my
love
jaw
you
dropped.
for seeing that.
And it's like one of those shows like 911 or
yeah, exactly.
Third Watch or whatever. But it
was on Fox. It was on Fox.
Yeah, it was on Fox, and I was like, good for you, girl. I was like, look at you. You're showing everybody.
I was the tiller of the truck, so I was the one who swings the back of it out and in. And yeah, that's so brilliant that you even saw that and know of that project.
Oh, yeah. No, but before that, I remember like late night cable, I watched this indie film, and it was with Ileana Douglas, and it was written by Craig Chester.
You're talking about Grief.
I'm talking about Grief. And that was the first time I saw you act. And I was like, oh my God, he is for real. And it's such a good movie. And I wish that people had a chance to see it, because it's kind of campy because it's about like the making of a daytime, drama, soap, whatever.
Yeah, totally.
But it also has like another layer, it's about despair, and it's about redemption, and I never forgot that film. I hope to see it again somewhere, somehow.
That's funny. Yeah, Grief. That was Ileana Douglas, Craig Chester, Alexis Arquette.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Before the change.
That was one of those indie gems of the 90s. And you kept yourself busy. I mean, you worked in episodic television.
Yeah.
You're still working in episodic television, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I've been grateful. I've been really grateful, as I get brought into these kind of moments when I have to like get ready to think about my career or like send out a bio or something, like say, oh shit, like you have done a lot of things, and I'm grateful that I've been able to shapeshift, and that people have taken me seriously when I've done it. So, God is amazing. He's made me to be quite the gypsy, and I finally arrived at a place to embrace all of it, and not put my thumb down on some, but think one is more great, like I was doing all that stupid shit. So it's nice to be free from that. And I'm just grateful, guys, I have a very cool life. I get to be creative. I get to impact a lot of people on a lot of different levels. I get to help my family find their peace. And my TV just turned on. So hold on.
Okay.
That's hysterical. That's called keeping it real, y'all.
Is that your poltergeist?
Exactly. So yeah, I'm grateful that I have been able to do the dances that I've done, the dance of life. Yeah,
I'm interested in your life coaching experiences, and also like specifically your autobiography and how that inspired you to create like a teaching system based on that. Like, tell us a little bit about that, because I have not read your book, but I did buy it.
Blasphemy!
I will be reading it soon. Okay.
Why am I talking to you? This is bullshit,
Tony.
Because
you have to do the proper prep. I mean, this is
well,
Sorry about this, Carlton. I really apologize.
Jesus,
I don't know what's going on. I mean.
Tammy, can you call my manager? Tammy, call my manager.
But, by osmosis, everyone's going to know about this book, and now they're going to go out and buy it themselves.
There you go. No,
is there an audiobook? Because I would love to hear you talk through the book.
Well, funny you should ask. Actually, a new neighbor, Allison, is a voiceover artist and has a full studio, and she and I just met earlier in the weekend, actually, a few days ago, because I I started picking her brain because I want to do an audiobook of both my books. But we'll start with the autobiography. Yeah. So
Ooh, the
that's
universe is
coming.
listening.
Yeah. But so, yeah, I mean, basically my story is, I was aware that I was up against some stuff, and I started writing as a poet first. So I had a bunch of poetry pieces. Actually, really what started was I had a whiteboard in my bedroom. I knew that I wanted to start writing. I just needed to get like my stuff out of me. And I just had a bunch of one lines. I remember I had 13, just like, so this is for anybody that's checking it out, like you're getting a little sort of tidbit as to how you can get your book structured. I just had like a bunch of one lines about like moments of my life, like the day I got kicked out of school and the day that I cut my finger, just, and then I would wake up and just let my body tell me which one do I want to write about. And then I would do that in poetry. So I got all 13 moments of my life at that time written out as poetry pieces. And then I kind of did a recycle and went, okay, which one do I want to expound on? And then I went into prose writing around that piece of poetry. Once I finished that, then I did a cut and paste, which should be first, which should be second, and that's how I got to my book. And it really was, I call that book my Getting Free, front and center, how I learned to live there. That's the autobiography. I said I was aware that life had marginalized me in some ways. I had marginalized myself. And I needed to finally fucking wash my hands and call a spade so I could finally do what the fuck I was supposed to do here and be free. And it worked.
Yeah, I think sometimes, like if there's something that you feel stuck in or you feel is like weighing on you, me personally, I think sometimes just like getting it out there, putting it out into the universe sometimes can help you see it a little bit clearer and help you release it.
Well, I love you even saying what you said the way you did, because getting stuck is really sort of the whole angle for the rebrand of Fierce Alchemist. My work, like what's my why, who. I basically help people I help people get unstuck so that they can access the lifestyle of their dreams and manifest it swiftly. That's what I do. I help people get unstuck.
How is that different from therapy? I'm just asking because I'm just curious.
Sure. No, it's a great and a very important question. Therapy is a talking head dynamic, which doesn't involve much strategy. And a life coaching is specifically pivotal component of it is structural strategy, right? So if you're in therapy, as I have been and you have been and lots of people do, you go and you're talking and you just share. So you're only activated from your brain out, right? And with a life coach, they can get into the nuances and give you building blocks specific with accountability that you come back, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You give them a little homework.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's important for people to have the homework, because anytime in regards to holding information or absorbing information, when you have an experiential in relation to it, it settles in more. Right. So if we can have a talk about it forever and forever, it doesn't mean things don't land. Of course they do. But when you have to put pen to paper and you have to ponder and come back to that same area a few times, come on. That's what a life coaching affords one. Yeah. And so, I basically went from my book. Then I started doing some speaks just on my autobiography on Front and Center. And people started sharing what they appreciated about it and that they wish they had some of those guideposts for themselves. And I was like, ding, 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 create a workbook. So then the workbook dropped in 2011, and that is my I Am Empowered workbook. 8 principles, comprehensive, mind, body, spirit mix. And it's been really, really effective. And so that's how I got really into the workshopping realm, is where I started and started doing some soft stuff there. Got my first corporate client was Merck, the pharmaceutical company. They came to me in 2014. They had a program that they were phasing out. They wanted to do some send off coaching for the face of it, the host, and that was obviously quite a coup for me to get that. And the thing that I've been enjoying about it is, it's allowed me to travel the world. I was taken to Hong Kong specifically with my dance formation program, which is I've created the first ever movement based through dance life coaching program as its own separate entity that launched in 2013. And so I was taken to Hong Kong to do that. I was invited while I was there to do an empowerment talk at a private school in Hong Kong. And for me to think about myself as this little black boy from the south side of Chicago, what is going on? Look at God, dude, damn, off of something that I created on my own. Like, this is not on somebody else's name. This is not on somebody else's merit. My coaching work is 1000% my work. And to realize you guys know, trying to launch something and get to the next level, you have fears and insecurities, and you got to get past all that shit, and to realize that I went through all of that, and look at what it gets to do now. It's taking me around the world and impacting a lot of people off of my authentic story.
Yeah, you're sharing your spirit, and it's paying you back a million times in ways you probably could never imagine. That's great.
For sure. So, this kind of stuff gets to be fun. And so, yeah, my coaching work, I really thank you for asking about it. It is everything for me. It is my God work. I totally get the alignment though, and the tentacles of building that my dance be the outlet by which I would gain all the skill sets that I could then, meaning it was my dance that took me around the world, that helped me to deal with a cross section of people, right? Get into the psychology of them, lots of different kinds. It was my dance that helped me realize that I could talk my mind into doing something beyond what my body might want to do. And then I can reapply that somewhere else. So dance helped me really build the fundamental stuff that sets me right to do coaching the way that I do it. Dance helped to be the saving grace for me when I was feeling super unsatisfied at home, or with my diagnosis, and like all of that, trying to find my way around that, escaping into my dance, using my body to move my energy. That's how dance formation came about. That is specifically, I realized, oh my God, I was given dance as a fix-it for a part of my life that wasn't working. What do I mean by that? I was 14 years old. I was supposed to go to school in Florida for all of high school. I used to go to Florida every summer with my brother, starting at 8 years old, and study karate. That's how I first got into my body, doing karate for 4 or 5 years.
Kung Fu fighting.
Exactly. Right? Bruce Lee, baby. That's right. And, but anyway, going back and forth to Florida, the dude that was the karate instructor started dealing with me inappropriately, and that's when the sexual abuse started, and that ran from 8 to 13. And I thought I was going to stay for high school, and I saw some stuff and realized, he now had a wife. He now had a 3-month-old baby, was trying to creep into the living room for me to fuck him in the middle of the night with the baby in the other room. And I was like, this is so wrong and so insane. And, the way that he had come all the other times was in that very swift and manipulative way that they do it. But after that night, when I realized, because I went back only every summer, so he had a new baby. I didn't know about the baby, and I didn't want to do anything. And I was at the dojo, and we were completing one of the classes in the evening, and all the other students left. And this was the first time that he really came trying to be forceful, and because I was now not wanting to do it, and he was trying to grab me. And anyway, I got away from that, but that thing is what propelled me to call my parents. I didn't tell them what happened, but I just said that I was really unhappy being in Florida. So this was 3 months into the school year. I left Florida back to Chicago. Scramble. Mom meets my 8th grade teacher. Cut to, that's how I got to dance. It was not at all about me being interested in dance. Nothing. It was the middle of the school system. What school could I go to?
Mm-hmm.
My mom ran into my 8th grade teacher in the grocery store. This is how God had a fucking plan for me. And she said, let me talk to some colleagues. It ended up being Diane Brooks that ran the dance department at Whitney Young Magnet High School, myself and Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say, that's where,
yep,
South
exactly.
Side. Yes.
Yeah. And, so that's where I started. And so just to realize that, dance, I only got it to dancing because me, ending school somewhere and having to fix that. That's why dance showed up in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I got the rub for how I could turn it into a system.
Yeah.
And looking at how it had saved my life in so many ways, and how I've used the awareness of my body to curve and move things around. So yeah, my life coaching work has been powerful. And now, as of September 29th, that just passed, I launched Fierce Alchemist 1.0. So it's the online coaching program. It's an 8-week program. So it's the deep dive.
Oh, wow.
And they get me once a week. And it is basically the guts of the I Am Empowered workbook with some enhancements. And so, yeah, that's my coaching world, and it's amazing. So tomorrow actually is the last day of the 8-week program. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And
is there a graduation?
There's no graduation.
No virtual graduation ceremony.
There's no graduation in life,
Ooh, don't say that. Take that back.
It just means that we're constantly, recreating ourselves.
Yes.
So, Carlton, in the Strike a Pose documentary that came out a few years ago, there are scenes where we're shown you practicing, your life coaching with your clients. Is what we see some of that what you've just described as dance formation?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So that footage that's inside of Strike a Pose was the first retreat that I took out for my coaching program. And so we were in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that I had already booked and scheduled the retreat to happen. The retreat version happens as a 5-day event. Dance formation is a 3-day unfold to move it out, move it in, move it up phase.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, yeah, I had that scheduled, and then I found out from the producers that they wanted to come back out and shoot some more footage.
Mm-hmm.
And so they ended up flying the whole crew to Hawaii, and they filmed me and for all the days we were there. And that's some of the stuff that you saw. Yeah, that's dance formation.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask about, you were talking about dance, and Tony and I had both seen the Strike a Pose documentary at the New York premiere that they had as part of the Tribeca Film Festival. And so of course, all of you guys were there, and it was so emotional and so wonderful to just catch up with all of you guys, years after Truth or Dare and whatnot, because such an impact had been made, for Tony and myself, seeing gay representation in Truth or Dare, and for the first time in the movie. I mean, that was the first time I'd ever seen any like gay representation in a movie, and
that's the first time I ever saw Latin gay men doing anything.
Yeah.
Wow. That's true. I guess that would be true, right? Yeah, that's true.
On a world stage,
Absolutely.
And the thing that I always loved about that was, as a closeted gay kid who I didn't even know I was gay myself at the time, you knew. I wasn't admitting it to myself, but to have Madonna normalize it was it didn't seem like it was weird, or it was like, oh, okay, this is fine. Madonna says it's okay, so it's okay, and
interesting.
But the Strike a Pose documentary, I've always loved how it seems like such a great love letter to dance, and I didn't know that going into the movie that's what it was going to be, but I just thought I didn't know if that was told to you that they were going to do that, or it just
I've actually never heard someone frame it like that as a love letter to dance.
I just thought it was such a great example of how dance sort of helped all of these people in their lives, and was such a huge part of all of these men's lives.
That's beautiful.
And yeah, beautiful. Like there's those gorgeous sequences with Salim, talking about how he's healed by teaching dance now, and then we see you doing dance formation. And I was like, oh my god, this is just like, somebody get me out of here before I like cry this place out. No, but seriously, it's because we grew up with you guys, we cared about you guys, and we didn't know where you guys went, as a group, and to see you guys come together, and it was such a catharsis, and to see
coming together was definitely even like incredibly special for us.
Yeah.
Because it truly was the thing at the dinner in the movie was the first time that we had all been together since we left the tour.
Mm-hmm.
And, for some of the guys, I hadn't even seen them since then. So it really was more endearing than any of us expected.
Yeah,
for sure. So, it's been lovely. It's been lovely to be able to have, the next leveling happen that Strike a Pose caused for all of us. Everybody's really been able to take off in some new and exciting ways since then, and just that the overall story still matters to people.
Yeah.
Which is to live in your truth and to be courageous in the world and fight for yours and all of that, So.
What I love the most is that Strike a Pose has its own space, separate from Truth or Dare, and it's all part of, a bigger picture, but it has its own very special place, and I'm so happy that it exists, and all the fans are. I know we all are very, very, very emotional about Strike a Pose.
Well, that's very sweet. I mean, that team, Esther Gold and Ryer Swan, the producer, director, fucking major combo.
Yeah.
I've told them since day one, seriously, that they really should add to their junkets some sort of like executive masterclass. Because they have, I mean, I've been in this game since I was 13. I'm 56 years old. I've seen a lot of different people lead business entities, business ventures, creative ventures. These folks had their shit down. From scheduling, meaning timelines, when you can expect, the deliverable was on time, keeping you in the loop about shifts, even if it didn't. They were just honestly, and also just kick it like we all kick
it. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That like they kick it like that, but handling their business, they're so on and just so of integrity. Yeah, I have quite an admiration for the two of them, and they're going to be doing some really cool stuff in the future. So keep your eye out for them.
For sure.
Strike a Pose sequel.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Can you imagine? Right.
In another 20 years, we'll catch back up with you guys and see.
Exactly. Only if we do it with him.
Exactly.
Then folks will be
my
interested.
God, people would line up in droves to see
Right.
that.
I think we should start a campaign for that to happen.
All right.
Seriously,
Justice
fans
for-
are always asking. They want everyone to get back together for like a Blonde Ambition like reunion special, and I'm like, I don't know if everyone would be able to do the choreography, but
we could do enough of the choreography.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Carlton, we recently had your colleague Sebastian Lacaze on the show, and he was telling us.
Sebastian.
Yes, he was so fun to talk to, and he told us about Disciple. Can you tell us about your experience with Disciple?
Yeah,
and working with
how'd you link up with that guy?
Wow. Interesting. Sebastian and I have been friendly companions. Like, we don't know each other. We didn't know each other well, but we saw each other over the years as dancers, right? And then years ago, he was living in New York, and I got wind of a web series that he had called Hustling. And it was fucking so good. Like, it was really good. He spearheaded the whole thing. It was his baby. And I reached out to him. I hadn't seen the dude for years. And I was like, yo, man, I highly respect what you're doing. You know, if you need some chocolate up in the mix at some point, I would love to play. You know, and he was like, at the time, he didn't really have the budget and thing to fly me out and cover all the things that they would need to cover. So we passed on it. Cut to right at the beginning of the year, pre-COVID, I got a hit up from him going, hey, yo, I've moved to the West Coast. I've got another project. We've got funding. We've got some stuff. I want to do some stuff still. And so that's how I got on board. And so he offered me this role. And, you know, he's such a smart businessman and had his pitch angle solid and, you know, the takeaways for me. And so it was great. It was really great.
Tell everyone what your role is in the film.
I play a priest, and I am Sebastian's basically sort of good buddy. We grew up together, and he is going through an adult coming of age, if you will, and I am really on the edge with how I feel he is being about it and doing it in relation to the church. And so there becomes some conflict inside of all of that. And that's all I'll say. But you should definitely see it. It's a really, really important film. And he's really good in it. He's really great in it.
So you're back in the habit after the Blonde Ambition tour.
Oh my God.
Back in the habit?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Carlton. Thank you.
Wow. Do you know that I did not even fucking think about that? You suck, dude. That's so bad.
Leave it to Stefan. Leave it to Stefan.
Okay, whatever. Fucking.
Okay, I think it's time for the lightning round.
Okay, yes.
It's been now 58 minutes, guys. I think it's been great. Thanks for talking to me.
So, Carlton, for every guest on the show, we always have a little lightning round. It's just meant to be off the top of your head. What comes to your mind first, wherever you're at in your Madonna journey today. So, favorite Madonna song?
What's the one? See, I'm so bad with her. I'm so bad. What's the song that she did from? Is it Bed? No, where like the kids are like moving objects and shit.
Oh, Bedtime Story.
Bedtime Stories. Yeah. Yes, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Favorite Madonna video.
Vogue, bitch.
Oh God, I was gonna say you can be the one that you're in.
Come on.
Vogue. Okay. Favorite Madonna tour.
Girlie show.
Yeah.
Favorite Madonna look, and it can be from a tour, a video, a magazine, whatever.
Bad Girl. Her Bad Girl video.
Good.
I love her look in that.
Good old Louise Oriole.
Yeah.
I love that video and that song too. I mean, it's so good.
Totally.
So, Tony, since this episode is being released around Thanksgiving, I thought I'd ask both you and Carlton. Carlton, what are you thankful for this year?
What am I thankful for this year? I am thankful this year. What a great question. Thank you. I'm thankful that 2020 has proven to be the year that I was delivered. That's what 2020 at the end of the day has proven for me. Through all the things that have happened in the quiet time, in the lockdown time, I've had some healings and things that have happened between me and my dad and me and my truths that have just come to form. So I feel like I've really been delivered from a lot of the angst that's been, too long. I'll just say too long. So that's what I'm thankful for. Tony?
I'm thankful for the shift in focus. No one expected this. Let's look back to January, February. I was waking up every morning, going to work, coming home, complaining about all the minutia, going back to sleep, and there would be a ray of light once a week where I would record the podcast, but everything was kind of going the same. And then this happened and so many things opened up. My head pretty much exploded and I had to create things. I had to end things and nothing is ever going to be the same. And I'm grateful for that because I needed, I needed, and a lot of people needed this to wake up, And
absolutely. And if I can speak into that a little bit, into things not being the same, folks have to be careful because there has been, this sort of quick draw thing of like, when can we get back to normal? When can we get back to normal?
Right.
And the reminder is most of us, myself included, were frustrated about what the normal was.
Yes.
So be careful what double talk you're just throwing out there, right? Because if it got back to normal, you wouldn't be satisfied.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's beautiful what you just brought up, Tony, the shifting that's happening. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And Stefan, what are you thankful for? And don't say turkey.
No. Oh God, no. No, you know what? I think in 2020, I left New York right when the lockdown happened and I spent 3 months at my mom's in Pennsylvania. And those 3 months with my family were never supposed to exist. And I look at that as such a huge gift from the pandemic because, as an adult, you normally don't get to like live with your family again. And so to be able to get that time, I guess it's time. I'm thankful for that time because, and if anybody is listening about the pandemic, we have time right now. Like things are slower. Things are, like you just have more time to do things because you can't do as much as you used to. And I think that it's okay to be slow and it's okay to be quiet and bored and just silent for a couple minutes and enjoy that space and just enjoy that time because once we, get a vaccine, everyone's going to be like, I'm flying here. I'm going there. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Sure. I'm going to, it's like, it's all going to be crazy again. So it's like, enjoy, like Depeche Mode, enjoy the silence.
And take advantage of it because, like I know for myself, timing wise with me getting out Fierce Alchemist, right? Aside from just realizing it was timely because there are a lot of people that are feeling very stuck and are needing to reboot their lives because their job ended or they don't know what they should go into now, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I just think it is just it's all just a really special time.
Yeah.
It's a really special time. I'm grateful.
Yeah, I might be calling you up with the Fierce Alchemist because I need some of that in my life, figuring out what's next.
Please do.
Unless Madonna finally calls us and hires us for the podcast.
Please.
Well, I want to say, and thank you guys, because I honestly, I was sitting here just thinking, I really appreciate the energy of this time with the two of you.
Oh, thank
you.
Thanks.
The energy that you two, the way you are doing this, even though it's a very scaled down version, there's something powerful to it. And again, I've been talking all day, right? and I do these things a lot. So I would love to be able to support you guys however I can in the future.
Thank you so much.
And congratulations.
Thank you. No, and it's been very special to have you on. I've always looked up to you, and it's been a genuine thrill to be able to talk to you and share your energy and space today. Please tell everyone how they can find you and how they can find your teaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a little scrambled with the social world, so folks, please forgive me. So there's no like consistency to it. My Instagram is Carlton Wilborn Rising. It's long, but that's what it is. Carlton Wilborn Rising. My Twitter is Carlton Wilborn. My Facebook is Carlton Wilborn USA. And if you want to get more info on my coaching work in general, I'm going to throw out a phone number you can call and hit me up. 888-750-5322. Again, that's 888-750-5322. You'll get prompted, do what you know to do, and you will get hit back immediately, and we can get into some conversation. I've got, a multi-tier of things that could at least get folks started. I've got tips that I can send out. I've got my workbook. I've got my full program. But I thank you for bringing attention to it. And folks, there's no reason to live in suffering, especially when you're grown and have the option to choose.
Exactly. And just to go back to something you said earlier, grown and sexy, that's the goal,
Grown and sexy. Grown and sexy.
That's
I think we've just found the title of Carlton's podcast episode.
Exactly. Did you just pull that out of my head? I was like, oh, wait, I could do something with that. Hold up. And I'll have you guys on as my first guest. How about that?
Amazing. Thanks again, Carlton. Everyone, that's our show for the week. Feel free to drop us a line. We love hearing from you all. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at MLVC Podcast, on the web at MLVCpodcast.com, and we're streaming wherever you listen to podcasts. So share with your friends and fellow Madonna fans. Talk to you guys next week. Have a happy
Carlton.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye, everybody.